Party started. Hey folks, how's it going? It's your host here, Velma Selledge, Life of a Veteran, with our guest today, Patrick Womack, who was a electrician in the United States Marine Corps. Is that 1141?
Yep, 1141, basic engineer.
Awesome. Now, Patrick's going to talk a little bit about where he was born, where he grew up, and why he joined the Marine Corps.
All right. Full name, Todd Patrick Womack II, was born in Berlin, Germany, thanks to my dad serving in the Army during that time. But we moved back to Fayetteville, North Carolina, aka Fayetteville. For anybody that goes there, or you can just YouTube it and you'll find out real quick. But grew up, bounced around there, went to college at UTI. And after that, went down to South Carolina, worked at a factory job, and then just said, screw it, let's just join the military. I mean, just one of those life choices that just comes along like, hey, you're not getting any older. I mean, you're going to get older, but you're not any younger. So if you might as well join the military while you can. So I went through my options. I was thinking about joining the Army, but hey, can't beat those dress blues. So I joined the Marine Corps.
Which is interesting because I mean, your father's in the Army and you grew up, in Fayetteville, and I mean, there's that it's primarily is that Special Forces and all that?
Well, it's 82nd Airborne.
Okay.
Pretty much that's the whole, you can almost say it's the whole division of Fort Bragg. But for parachuting, I mean, you do have your Rangers out there, but I would say what kind of also pushed me towards the Marine Corps was just to outdo my dad. I mean, he did infantry in the Army, but I was like, hey, the Marines are the best. Everybody says, everybody has their own different interpretations of a Marine or the stories they have. So I said, why not? I accept the challenge.
Now, did you ever want to join the infantry, or was it just, what was your whole mindset about that?
My dad didn't really want me to join the military until college came around, and seeing how it seemed like it was expensive it was, and then all of a sudden he just told me, I should join the military. I was like, whoa, you told me growing up, like you wanted me to go to college. You did the militaries, but it wasn't until I was working in South Carolina, but it was one of those jobs where I had to stay within a temp agency for almost like going on 2 years before to actually get hired within the company. And it pretty much, once I made it past that 2-year mark, but then it was like a waiting line. So my last name was Womack, so I wasn't going to get hired for probably another 8 months. So I just started looking into the military. I was thinking about going into the Army, but I had a great recruiter, Staff Sergeant Patton. He one of his little selling points, it was like, look at me, because he tried to, he sold the goofball in him, and he's like, if I can make it, you can make it. But it showed me how tight the bond is in the Marines, and through the recruiting station and how close they were. And we always want that, because when you're away from family, you want to at least know on your left or your right, that's your family too. They got your back, you got theirs. So that was very important to me.
Did you choose your MOS as well? So I mean, camaraderie is important to you as well, which is good.
Well, I got the big green weenie on that one. I was supposed to be the in communications. I thought I had it, and of course, once you get in towards the end of boot camp and they telling you where you're going, and you're hearing everybody's going to com and going to California, and here it goes. It's like you're a level 41 basic engineer going up the street. What? I thought I was supposed to be calm. Nah, you're better suited as a generator operator. I was like, okay. So it wasn't the job I was wanting or was sold on when I came in, but I try to make the best of it.
Only reservists choose utilities, I swear.
I'm sorry. I mean, like, either you're gonna be an infantry when you want to join the Marine Corps, or you want to be like. For me, it was calm. You know, I love the communication aspects of it.
That's respectable. You want to be like a radio operator, or did you actually want to work on radios?
A little bit of both, actually.
Ooh.
You know, I'm the kind of person that, like, okay, if you put me in this field, I don't want to just know my job. I want to know, okay, what's his job? Okay, I want to know that. And once I get a kind of idea and do it for a little bit, then I see somebody else doing something else, and I'm like, okay, I want to learn that. What's going on over there? So I'm trying to learn it all. I don't want to. Is the more tools you can add to your tool belt, the better.
No, absolutely. Now, that's actually interesting that you say that. Did you I don't think people cross training while, and we'll backtrack to boot camp and MCT as well. However, did you do any
Mhm.
a decent amount of cross training at all? Or how important is cross training?
I think it's extreme necessary to cross train, because you never know where you can be in a situation, or you don't have the right numbers, and you might need to borrow some people, but they don't have any slightly idea of what's going on. Like, that's why I was curious. I always try to, as we say, go up the hill to the water dog session, because I was always curious, what is it y'all really kind of do, and how is it done? Like, what, like, people thinking like water purification. I mean, the only closest thing I knew about that was from a movie called In the Army Now. But to actually see it done, seeing like what y'all had to work with, I was like, okay, y'all not BSing over here. Is, because of course, we just hear about the pool, y'all got a pool over there. And so y'all, just chill out all day or go swimming all day. But is actually, if y'all didn't have that pool, it'll be kind of hard to train.
How the hell can we do our job without water? I'm sorry, we need the pool. Like,
Yeah,
it's
like that
really,
water.
I mean, what, how, you get jealous all you want and shit because we have fucking water. However, how the fuck else are we? I mean, we need a water source. We need a pool. We need a beach. We need that 1K, you know what I mean, with water and shit, and yeah, you can make a jacuzzi out of it, but that's not the fucking point, dude. Like, don't get fucking like,
And that's why I
besides
was
the
like,
fact.
I was curious. It was like, and that curiosity, like, it was so hard to try to come up with an excuse to go up there, like, because I was curious. I mean, once I learned my 807s, the 16s, all the way down to the damn turtles. There's only but so many times I want to keep, checking or getting account for the wires for all the wire bags. And I was like, okay, I kind of want to know what the water dogs are doing, because I'm just curious and I want to learn something new. I mean, that's my internal brain for me, is once I done got comfortable or master or even come up with my own ways of doing a job, I want to learn more. It's like, and I don't mind learning somebody else's job. I'm not trying to take your job. I just find it interesting of what you do.
No, knowledge is power. Now, let's backtrack to we're gonna go
Mhm.
we're gonna go a little backwards. I feel like we're gonna
All
probably
right.
go a little bit anywhere and everywhere, but let's go back to the schoolhouse.
Oh,
So
courthouse
like,
days.
yes. So you talked about all this equipment, but can you,
Mhm.
I mean, but to the average civilian, the fuck is an 807? What the fuck is a turtle? You know what I mean? Can you
Oh,
imagine, you know what I mean? Like a turtle,
okay.
a
The
turtle.
big.
What the fuck is like the cute little creature or like what? I mean,
Oh, well, pretty much in the electronic world, you know, once you figure out, okay, you got your generator, and okay, depending on the size of the generator, you can wire up as much as possible. So the 807, if I call correctly, that's the ones that will wire up or could wire up 3 to 4 whole tents and not miss a beat. And so we'll use like the turtles to branch off every individual powers. So, and the wires, hey, I hated that wire count, but it's understandable, and you got to know what's your length because and which wires can hold what voltage because hey, that's the transfer of power. You know, you don't want to have your heavy duty wire trying to power up your lights. I mean, that's not what it's for. So, and then you got your 16 and 1400s, which is your mid-level generators, which can also power up tents, but you know, depending on like one generator could power up, I'll say out of the 1600s, it could do 2 tents if I recall correctly. But it's been a minute, but just knowing that you got to watch the fuel levels, check the voltage, make sure it's not running too high, kind of, bring it down. I mean, it still had its interest. I mean, especially electricity. I mean, I'll tell you a little story of during our time in Okinawa. I think you remember is that incident, but I have the inside story to what happened.
oh shit.
It's pretty funny, but we can look back on it now.
Oh my god.
But during the courthouse bay, I mean, from the studying, I mean, we still work close to water dogs too. That's the funny part. And they would come back completely drenched, and I'm like, "What did y'all do?" We played in the water. I was like, "Okay, well, as long as y'all didn't come over here, you would have got electrocuted,"
Yeah.
you know. So I always thought that was pretty funny, it was like that little competition between water dogs and elect siding. And I was just like, well, they can't really play in their field because I mean, y'all wouldn't want to come over there completely wet and get electrocuted. And I want to be kind of stagnatic and want to be next to water. So I always thought that was interesting, but I understood that of the whole utilities, structure. So, but I always thought that was very interesting. But Courthouse Bay was very interesting, Camp Lejeune. But after when you graduate, you get the choice of East Coast, West Coast, or overseas. Hey, overseas is a one-way ticket to Japan, so I took that.
What was there a particular reason why you want to go overseas or Japan in general? Or have
Oh,
you heard of Okinawa?
um, pretty much just always wanted to go to Japan. I mean, it's from loving anime to wanting to actually have some real sushi. I remember my first sushi experience was like in a little shopping mall kind of deal, and they gave me like the cucumber roll, but I wasn't ready for that. I wanted an actual nigiri style, the fish over the bed of rice. But I actually say that I wanted some actual sushi from Japan and actually taste that and just want to experience that culture. I mean, hey, the military's paying for it. Why not?
Absolutely. Now, What was some of, I mean, you're talking about sushi, but what about some of the other food that you found that you
Well, I mean, that's the main thing that you go out there for, you know, is the sushi, of course. But once you get introduced to Coco's, yeah. You kind of spend, you know, you'll spend a couple of checks at Coco's. You know, it just that curry was unbelievable. Then the soup and the noodle, oh man, from the noodle shops and just that broth. I mean, it was just very, you know, delicious. But I would say the one thing that caught me really by surprise and I really loved was the Korean barbecue.
really?
That that really caught me off guard. And how I discovered that was I was in Naha downtown. It was around the afternoon time. I was just taking photos, just goofing off. And I started to get hungry. And of course, I kind of knew my way around, but I didn't really like it was I was like maybe 10 blocks away from the McDonald's. But I was like, I don't feel like walking that way. I knew some little steakhouse that was, you know, a little bit on the expensive side. I didn't really want that. But then I see the little kids. And then they kind of like was walking and they kind of opened up this door or they kind of went downstairs or like a little slope, whatever. But they opened the door and they was, you know, all going inside. I was just like, okay, what's going on in there? Turns out to be an all you can eat Korean barbecue. And it was for I think it was 10 yen. So hey, they fired up the grill, you pick all your meat, they give you your rice, and you just start cooking it right there. And I just fell in love with that. I mean, you can get like a little the hibachi grill, whatever, but it's not as fun as doing it yourself.
That's
And that teriyaki sauce, that was amazing.
that teriyaki sauce combination with the rice it's magical.
Yes, it is. And I was like, oh my God, I could get enough of it.
Were you surprised with, I mean, just with all the good food out in Japan for the most part?
Oh, absolutely. The McDonald's out there, not one time, not one. I will till this day, I will say you will not have the best fries from McDonald's unless you're in Japan. I've been over here and I've been in the States. The only way you're gonna get good fries in the States is if you say no salt, so you can get them fresh.
That's true.
In Japan, they will actually, if those fries have set for not even close to 5 minutes, they throw them away and make fresh fries.
Do they have to double fry them or something? I mean, it's
No, they throw them away. I witnessed it.
well, no, when I mean double fry them, like, I mean, they obviously do throw them away if they're not fresh, but what I'm trying to say is they have to like double fry them, you know what I mean? That's probably why they taste so much better in a sense, you know what I mean? Because it's like
Well,
you're if you double fry something, it's supposed to be you fry it at a low temperature and then you flash fry it, and it's a really good crispy texture and the inside's like all nice and shit. However, now you said over here, you're where are you at right now?
oh, right now, well, how can I say? I'm living in Parmesan, Germany, but I work in Kaiserslautern, Germany, close to Ramstein, Germany. It's the Ramstein, that's pretty much the Air Force, and Kaiserslautern is like pretty much they're separated by a bridge. That's how funny it is. And I work at we call it KD, Kaiserslautern Army Depot, which is I work in the medical division, which I helped, you know, as far as I help send medical supplies from like Europe is like your main hub for the connection to like the Afghan or Africa, anywhere overseas, Guam. Like we help get medical supplies over there to wherever it needs to be. And by us being in the medical field and having dealing with all the medical supplies, yes, I dealt with the Afghan situation firsthand, and that was a lot of orders, a lot of water.
Would you like to talk about that right now?
Sure.
What are your thoughts about it?
Because it happened all so fast. We was actually in the middle of the move, like the department I work for, USMC, was based in Premazons, but we had moved to Casa Slaughter. So we was just about finished doing a whole base move. We were still receiving supplies. And then on top of that, we still had our regular orders. But then we started hearing, we started hearing about the ramp up, about the evacuation, and we was, over here, we just steadily watching. And then boom, when it came to the Afghan people and how the government really kind of played it, and how this was the number one stop, and like literally we had they was building up, places so they can, have them. They built up one section of the 10 section close to the highway. I mean the Autobahn. So you can definitely see, where they was living. And it was a lot of medical supplies. When you're hearing that, not only one but two pregnant women getting birth right there on the tarmac.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 3 of them gave birth on the way to try to go to the hospital. And then on top of that, they was setting up. Well, we had, once we got word that Germany was like, okay, they can only stay in Germany for 10 days, it really made it a whole mess. So we buckled down. I mean, it was a lot of late night for a lot of soldiers. But we managed.
Now you're talking about U.S. soldiers, German soldiers.
U.S. soldiers. U.S. soldiers was working, like they came from different divisions and came apart this, and wherever was needed help, from loading trucks to help getting supplies, help organizing. I mean, it was all U.S. soldiers. I mean, most of the Air Force was already tied up with security for one. I mean, you talking about security got really tight. And from building and facilitating, all the Afghan people and making sure they're fed, entertained, try to give, I guess, the sense of, comfort as possible in a stressful environment, because it really was. But we didn't want to, get alarmed or get to a high level of stress. I mean, it was just hard work. We was working also with local nationals. I forgot, I don't want to cut them out. It's not just soldiers, but it's, because I'm a contractor, and it's also local nationals, and then also the military, presence also. So it was everybody's hand in there and trying to help as much as possible. And so I guess we, got it to where we accomplished the mission. Because now it's kind of, it seems like we finished with it, but I haven't really heard anything much more from the Air Force. So I guess it's right now at a point where the Afghan people are being taken care of and can be united with their families.
So I just want to. You are a contractor with the United States Air Force, then?
Well, I'm a contractor through French Consulting.
Okay.
Which is, connected to the USMC Army, medical division. Pretty much like they help contract for throughout the Army's medical division,
Awesome.
from helping getting supplies to helping help ship them. And I think also they do a lot of the IX, giving like cat cars and stuff like that, helping in that department also.
What are your thoughts about I mean, you pretty much for being a big, I mean, technically you were a big part of with the Afghan, I'm gonna call it the Afghan crisis. We were we were thoughts about, I mean, just about how the pullout was and everything else. Do you think, I mean, what do you think the aftermath
It's
is? You know what I mean? Like, I know you have a lot of,
it,
I mean,
it
you must have
oh
thoughts
well,
about it.
it's it it really is a situation where you had to really sometimes you did have to ask yourself, you know, when was the war going to end? I mean, it seemed like it was just one of those things that is going on, but you don't know what's going on. It's almost that's what it started to feel like. Some people, I don't know if you talk to civilians, some people didn't even know we were still in war. That's what I kind of picked up from. And then to just all fastly hearing, oh, it's going to end, we're pulling out, and the way they did it is definitely not the way we envisioned. I know a lot of people made a lot of, long and lifetime friendships with some of those Afghan people, because I mean, I'm like, it can be a two side of a coin, from how they can look at us and we look at them, until you actually get to know some of the people, you really do find some good, genuine people. And just like how they look at us, they say that we are good and genuine people. And knowing that our presence there and how much we affected them, I mean, 20 years, I mean, for that is like close to a lifetime for them. Some people grew up into adults with dealing with this, and to quickly pull out, knowing that we just hand the reins back to the Taliban, and we can say that they're gonna, that this is how it's gonna be. They're gonna somewhat change their ways. I mean, we really don't know for sure. And it's hard, it's not as I have a coworker, he's also a Marine, and he was very distraught about it. I mean, it's a lot of people lost a lot of brothers and sisters over there. And to not, I wouldn't, I mean, I don't even know how you can even call it a victory. You know, you don't, it's like, it's definitely, you don't know, but for something that's been going on this long, and just to pack it up, it's not one of those things I just didn't expect this outcome to happen like this. And it just kind of leaves you like, then what was this long fight for? You know, why did so many brothers and sisters, gave the ultimate sacrifice, and how can we honor them? Is you want to, honor them with the victory, and it it's just, it's one of those touching things, man. It really is, because you just don't know how to really take it. You know, you can say it's good, you can also see the bad, and now we're it's like we're on pins and needles. We're just watching now. What's going to happen next? And it just puts you in the unknown. That's how I evaluate it. You know, just try to be prepared for what, or for the unexpected. You know.
Are okay, this might sense. Are there any supplies going out to Afghan right now?
Uh,
The whole
we have a few things still going out right now. Everything has been slowed down due to the whole new fiscal year within the government. And I hate to say, until the faucet gets turned back on, you know, we putting out like special projects, like things that needs to go to like Kosovo. I think a few things, but I need to follow up on it. I haven't been in transportation in a while, but things right now are slow, and it's due to funding. You know, everything right now is just on slow mode. So it's kind of hard to get like a read into what's really going on, because a lot of things that we're still packing or still shipping or still like, well, we got it caught up now, but it was kind of like a little bit of those old orders that caught in between from the COVID to even this Afghan situation. So we're, from what we know, is we're caught up, but I don't know if we're still going to be able to send out things out there.
Yeah, fair enough. And then you mentioned Kosovo. So what's going on? Is there still issues with that country?
It's up and down from what I'm hearing, but we have special orders and we try to get them out as soon as possible. Like, you know, anytime we have, you know, Kosovo, and we don't even care if it's, you know, 15:30 and everybody's getting ready to go all get off, whatever. We got to get it out. We got to at least have it prepared and have it get out. So it's hard to always get an understanding of what's going on. All we just care about is getting them what they need.
No, absolutely. You have a very important job.
Oh, I mean, there are some days where, you know, you get worn out, like any other job. But what keeps me going is knowing that I'm working in medicine. And if I slack or I don't care, then nobody's gonna get their medical supplies. If I, you know, don't pay attention to what the order requires, that means somebody could lose their life, you know. And I take it very seriously. I mean, I just, you know, I wasn't really, you know, expecting that they gave me a coin, but I appreciate it, but I'm just trying to do my job.
Now, I don't think most civilians understand the importance of a coin. Now, is this like a challenge coin, or is this?
Oh, well, this was it's the commander's coin of excellence.
Oh, nice. I don't know what it is about the fucking military folks, but they love to give out coins. It's just,
Yeah, it's just one of those things where they can just pass it to you with a handshake, and it's I say it's much compact than a whole plaque, and I guess it's a little bit cheaper. I don't know, but I mean, it's just one. I appreciate the acknowledgement, but sometimes I get a little bit, I don't know, I get either overwhelmed or I don't feel like I deserve it, because I'm just trying to do my job. You know, I'm not perfect, and you know, I wasn't, you know, I don't strive for, recognition. I just try to, do my job to my best abilities every single day.
Absolutely. And you mentioned about burnout earlier. Is there I know, and a little bit beforehand we were talking about burnout as well too, before we even started this, folks. Now, what I mean, what have you done to relieve yourself from feeling burnt out, or like, was it was that more just a thing in the Marine Corps, or is that or it could still happen? I mean,
Oh, it can most definitely still happen. It's I know one of the very first things they'll tell you, like, oh, to release stress, go exercise, keep your mind busy, in which I do that, become a gym rat. But eventually, like everything else, is like once you make it a routine, and you got to add those little nuances of changes, because then that routine, it just becomes just the same old thing. And when it becomes that same old thing, you got to either keep it interesting, or it's going to turn on you to where it's just one of those things you feel like it's just, making you exhausted and tired, and you're like, and for over here, like there's a lot of nature over here. So when I go on a walk, it's like, the scenery can just kind of take me away. It's like actually being a Bob Ross painting, I could just go away, and I could just, take photos, just kind of like really meditate and clear my head. So I've been finding out, new ways to keep myself from burning out. But I definitely utilize vacation now. I didn't, like I said, we talked about in the Marine Corps, the only advice I got was don't, use your vacation, save it, and so you get money afterwards. And I tell anybody now, like, hey, if you're feeling just burnt out from a place, or you're feeling irritable, especially when somebody says good morning, you're just like, take a vacation. Just take a time for yourself. Just even a day, you'll be surprised how much of just out of the blue vacation day, can just relieve some of those stress. Just by sleeping an extra couple of hours, you'd be like, wow, I didn't know I needed that. Just that, and I'm feeling recharged. But sometimes you just gotta break out of your routine a little bit. That's I sum that up, best way I can for like staying out or staying away from being burnt out. Just when you reach that point of a routine, or everything's just staying the same, just stop everything, take vacation, just recharge, just do something completely different than what you've been doing.
no, absolutely. And now, folks, he's talking about how Germany has like a lot of nature and it's beautiful.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys like forgot, but he also was in some really beautiful fucking states as well too, like North Carolina and South Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina, South Carolina, I mean, Georgia, Florida, New York, Cali,
Those are
you
some.
know,
Now, what state did you enjoy the most? I mean, what state did you probably enjoy the most?
better than North Carolina.
Let's crack a lacking.
Yeah, better than old Vietnam, North
Well, yeah,
Carolina.
I mean,
Ooh,
home is home. You can't. We
yeah,
don't deny that. We don't.
but
Home is number one. We don't deny that. We're talking about best place you visited or like lived while in the Marine Corps. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah, oh yeah, I know. That's why I was like, I'm trying to keep it completely biased. Ah, mm, Well, I'm only going to give it to this state because it's the same way as North and well, I call it Carolinas, North and South. I mean, you can chalk it up, but I'm gonna break it down. The reason why I'm gonna say this is California is I love it where you're in a state where you can get all four elements all at the same time. And that's what North Carolina gives me. If I want the beach, I can shoot over to Myrtle Beach, Carolina Beach. You know, I got the beach right there. If I want a major city, I can shoot to Charlotte, Raleigh, Durham, Goldsboro, Greensboro. If I want some mountains, I can shoot up to Boone, Asheville. Same way in California, you have so much of the city life from LA to, San Diego, but you're right there at your beach. It's just like choose a beach. But then if you really want to like go up to the mountains or get some wildlife, you just go up further north. And to me, that's how I kind of like that's what in my opinion is what makes a great state, when you can give all four elements at the same time at any time.
I'm a desert, man.
Oh yeah, well, that's actually was very surprising. What is like you want to like hate the heat, but then once you get kind of used to the heat, you kind of like, all right, this ain't so bad. Is adapt and overcome.
Yes, and stay hydrated, folks.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know for any Super Trooper fans out there. Yes, Germany does go by the leaders out here. So yes, you can get a liter of cola.
Hell yeah. Now we're now earlier we were talking about how COVID's been, how has the pandemic been? What was the quarantine like for y'all?
When the COVID first started, I was actually working for a moving company. Yeah, my young ass was working for a moving company when COVID was just getting started. Like everybody was still up in the air, like nobody did not know what to do. And then once it really got serious, the German government, and this is how it is over here, the German government is not going to search for you. The police ain't going to be right around looking for, no. The German government over here hits your wallets. They know how to get your money. So when they shut down, and I mean literally, if you would have got caught in a park trying to walk your dog, you would have had to pay I think it was 2,500 euro ticket. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, 2,500 euros right out the gate.
Wow.
That's how serious they was about COVID, and you want to talk about everything shut down. I mean, like that's why I don't know how it was in the States. Like if you were still able to go grocery shopping because they shut down grocery stores. Like the only thing that was still probably open was gas stations, and so here it is, you're trying to grab as much as possible at a gas station, and then it started to open up where you can order food and you have to go pick it up, of course, wear your mask and everything, but it definitely took a hit because a lot of restaurants or a lot of small, there's a lot of independently owned business in Germany. And when you talk about a complete shutdown, and we ain't talking about a week or two, we talking about this, they completely shut down restaurants for nearly close to 4 to 5 months. So I actually had to witness a good restaurant in Chuckwagon get closed. I met a cook at one of the one of the premier restaurants over here called Big Emma's, where you get giant behind steaks or schnitzel. And he was worried about losing because he was one of the family members of that business, and he was actually scared that they might not be back in business. So this pandemic, I mean, it is very effective. And if anybody hasn't gotten their shots, I know I procrastinated myself too. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I was in first in line, but I got my shot, Johnson and Johnson. Call me ghetto, whatever.
One shot, one kill. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. One shot, one kill, man. And plus, when you hear how everybody talking about, yeah, I got Moderna, but man, I was sick or I was drained. I'm like, I gotta work.
Yeah, I had to be was it the fiber or whatever? So technically it was two to the chest.
Woo!
So
I mean, don't worry. I mean, they talking about I gotta get a second one for this booster, whatever. I'm like, you gotta take me alive. They said one shot, one kill, so leave me alone.
yeah, fuck evolution, man.
Yeah, but I did get tired of getting my brain tickled. I mean, my goodness, I couldn't deal with that no more.
It's not that bad now. It's like they don't really go up to the brain anymore. It's more of like you just kind of just like
Go around the nose.
Yeah, it's like
Ah,
it's not bad. I
man.
literally just had to I had to get some dental done and yeah, it wasn't that bad. I had to get dental done and I needed a COVID test before they did the cleaning and everything. So yeah, it wasn't
Oh
that
wow.
bad. So
Okay.
like they went just kind of like inside the nose, but they didn't go like really up and shit. You know what I mean? Just
So you ain't got that brain tickle. Okay. So
yeah,
it's
no
just
brain tickle. It's literally it's literally a nostril tickle. Actually, it's just like right in the little area. Nothing
okay.
bad. I was
Okay.
nervous because I didn't realize. I thought I was about to get fucking like brain tickled. You know what I mean? So
Oh, that thing was. Oh my goodness. I have. I feel like I'm a prostitute when it came to it because I feel I reached double digits, and you get your brain tickled, then you sit there and look at a clock for 15 minutes to show that it's negative, and you're like, "This negative? All right, I gotta go." And this is just for 24 hours, so I'm like, I'm getting kind of tired of getting my brain tickled, but I mean, it was just one of those things because over here they was offering that they was gonna, round us all up like cattle and put us on a bus and then go get the shot. And then it became, well, the Germans, over here, they're serious about their paperwork and their laws. And I mean, I got a home doctor too, but when these shots was coming out and the government was offering, it was like, I gotta talk with my private doctors, so I won't be taking a shot. And I was like, wow, I mean, they're very serious.
did you get to see the now my question is
Mm-hmm.
do you know how are you close with any like soldiers or troops that how has do you know if COVID's affected the your place of employment in a sense, you know what I mean? Or
It's
what
getting
about
to
the
that
troops?
point. Well, it's getting to that point where, for how long the vaccination's been out, it's to that point where they're like, okay, everybody should at least have had the vaccinations, and is to the numbers where everybody on base either are, if you have one, it's like there's more people that have one than not. So now it's starting to, they're trying to emphasize on like, okay, everybody that comes on base needs to have their shots. um I would say it's affecting the schools. They just had like an outbreak at a school, and one of my coworkers had to stay with his son for a little bit during the week because he was close contact to one of the kids that may have was tested positive, I think. But they shut down the school, so it's back to where they're half of the, like, if you attended one school, half of the class will show up on a Monday, the other half of that class will show up on a Tuesday. So that's how they kind of regulating now. But for right now, they kind of shut down. So it's trying to go back to normal, but we're still having hiccups. So with the hiccups, it's shut everything down. We'll try again next week.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting how that's playing out. How has COVID affected you at all in a sense of burnout, I guess? Do you feel more burnt? I mean,
Uh,
has it affected your, I mean, it obviously has affected your work, but in a productivity, is there more? You mentioned it was slowing down, but is there spurts sometimes, or was there spurts?
yeah, it definitely affects like the weekend per se. You could you definitely have to instead of going sightseeing, like you just look up a place and just go. You gotta check to see if the COVID regulations. Is it a minimum of people? Like when it comes to like the theme parks, they will only allow like maybe 3,000 people. So you already had to pre-order your tickets. And sometimes you can even pre-order a ticket, but if the COVID level shot up, they will shut everything down. And yeah, you're just not going in. I'm sorry, you might have just lost your money, or hopefully you can get a refund. But as far as living standards, it's you still got to wear your mask. You know, you still got your testing sites, but as far as regular living is still not there. It's still kind of it's almost like they like in Florida, like everybody wants to go back to normal, but the government over here just is not allowing it. It's when they say it's in the red, it's in the red, and they'll shut down everything, and they'll hit your wallet if you try to step out of line.
It's a very efficient way to fuck with someone. I mean, to get your point across. It is a very
Oh,
efficient
I
way.
mean, that's what I said. I was like, if this was in the state, see, that's what makes the state so great. Also, is like technically you really don't need like a bank account, but over here you do.
No shit.
Yeah, because they got so many different ways of how they classify. Like I want to say not like your income, but they try to keep an eye on it or something like that because they'll tax you. And like one of their things, because I learned it over here because I was, like I said, I worked for a moving company, but then I was going to try to take a side job at McDonald's. But the thing about it is you can't just take up a side job like you would in the States. In the States, you're like, it's my main job. Don't need, as long as it don't conflict with it, like the hours, whatever, I'm good. But with the over here, you try to have a second job, you have to let the first job know, and they can actually say if you can work those hours.
Wow. That's weird.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, so I was like, wow, so somebody else can tell me if I can make extra money or not.
So, I mean, which pretty much forces you to be more independent in a sense and do some sort of independent side hustle where
Absolutely. But living over here is like their mentality is they live or they work to live. In other words, they'll work, but don't be surprised that they'll have like regular sick days throughout the weekend, or they'll be gone sick for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks at a time, or I mean, they actually, I mean, they'll work, but they don't have that grind like you as an American would, wanting to hustle, want to get the money. They don't work for that. They work just to enjoy life, which that's why I'm like, for us, I don't know if it's like we have that keep up the Jones mentality, or the materialistic of how always wanting to have nice things, but over here it's not really that important to them. Is that, but at the same time, I'm like, when you see how nice, how like you can really, like, I'm actually kind of working on that. Just let's just say I'm working on trying to have my own Airbnb, over here, and I'm trying to allow more Americans to travel over here. So at least, I could be like your personal tour guide pretty much. So that's why I'm one of my goals over here. But they you see a lot of Audis and BMWs, and you're just like, okay, you see a lot of nice things, but you're trying to put the balance on it, because you know how do they have these nice things, but they very seldomly work. Like, they don't really, you don't hear how people are having like 2 or 3 jobs or something like that. You don't really hear that out here. But they have different kind of credit systems. Like, I found out how you can have a car payment pushed all the way to like 12 to 15 years. So when you got that, so you can have like a brand new Audi and only paying like close to €100 a month.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, it's they more value of the time or the credit per se. It's not like they don't make you feel like you got to rush to pay it.
Right.
So that's one of the concepts of it over here, and they're very like environmental heavy. Like, I thought I knew something about recycling. Oh boy, it's on a whole new level over here. But they also find it very, like, just like how we do in the States, where you recycle aluminum, whatever, you get money back. Here they do it over here too, but it's like right at the grocery store. So you turn in all your plastic bottles, they'll have like the little recycling little label on there, and you turn in all your bottles, and there's your grocery store money. And groceries are not that expensive over here. But the gas is going up. I can tell you that much. And they go by liters, not gallons. So it can become very expensive.
Yeah. Okay. Now, is there any save rounds before
Uh, just, I would say, as far, being working around the military and having my, I'm just in case anybody know, I have I'm not ashamed to admit it, I have a other than honorable, and working around the military again, it was a very, I would say, a scary and challenging time, because when I got back to the States, I had like nearly a year and a half of depression. I didn't, because, when you're getting out, you don't want to talk about getting out. But when you do get out, and the very first thing, you just want to unwind, have fun, go whatever, do whatever you want. But then reality sets in. You still got to live. You got to have a job. What you're going to be doing. And when you don't know that, especially getting out of the military, or somebody telling you what to do for a period of your life, you get kind of lost. You got to rediscover yourself. So I rediscovered myself while I was in America, but coming out here, I kind of knew I would have to, in order to have like a decent living, I would have to work within the military. And I was nervous, because having an other than honorable, I knew, that's a red flag. And I got hit with a couple of them. I mean, even when, it's bad when AFEs wouldn't even want to take you, and they pretty much labeled you this guy, through emails. But persevered. I'm working close to the military. I guess you could say I'm trying to pay back, or get rid of that regret while working USMC, which that's why I go so hard or try to give my best. But I was just telling anybody that I tell even soldiers now, I was like, hey, don't ever let a place burn you out, man. If you feeling like, and that's with anything, man. It's always hard in the military to know what somebody's going through, because we're always trying to not to, let our emotions on our sleeve or letting anybody know what's really going on. And sometimes it gets to the point where that mask is so tight that you don't know how to even take off the mask, because I see a lot of soldiers today, they still, some of them are faking it until they make it. And I'm telling them, it's like, hey, sometimes you just can't fake it, man. If you're reaching to that point where everything around you sucks, like you just can't stand everything. Hell, you hate putting on your uniform. That's when take care of yourself, man. I'm glad that the world is starting to really take note about mental healthness, because I think that leads to many brothers and sisters, going down that dark path. And we don't know how to talk to anybody about what's going on, because we also still don't want to be labeled as soft or weak. So we need an outlet. We need to let our emotions out or talk to somebody, but don't label me as weak or like put me on a prevention or something like that. I'm just trying to express what's going on inside. And I think that just goes a really, really long way.
No, absolutely. Thank you for that.
No problem. But before I forget the electric dog story. So I don't know if you remember Mazier.
Barely.
Well, that was my roommate at the time. He was a good guy, but pretty much working inside of a generator, and this is why when you're working inside of a generator, to make sure the power is off. He kind of hit two things, got a little shocked, and and somebody had to run and kick him off. But he was trying to say Cabrera's name. He was like, Cabrera. He couldn't fully say, once electric got a hold of you, you couldn't let go. So
oh wait,
had to get kicked off.
Mackenzie?
Yeah, Mackenzie.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, that short, stocky dude. Yes, he was hilarious.
Oh yeah. I try to. A matter of fact, I just thought, Matt, you just made me think about it. Zawalski.
Oh well, yeah, yes.
Yeah, I give him so much credit, because I remember everybody kept on making fun of him, but he couldn't help but to express himself. And I give him so much credit, because he was like one of the realest ones that was out there, because no matter what you try to make fun of or whatever, that's who he was. He laid it out there, and I respect that. And he kept his, and I see how much it meant to him. But that's all I took from my lessons of my other than honorable, was to definitely make sure you're not reaching that red line. And that's why I appreciate anybody. Just I made a mistake, I owned it. I mean, I can tell you when I just wanted out. I did not care, and because I was just completely burnt out. And sometimes before you jump off the ledge, maybe you got to find that time to breathe and just stop what you're doing, and don't jump off that ledge. Just sometimes enjoy that view.
Right. No,
and then walk away.
that's right, folks. If you need it, take a vacation.
Absolutely.
Rest
I
and
mean,
relax. If you have it, obviously, if you have the time and whatnot, time and money, because I know there's gonna be some negative Nancy's, saying that they're not. Just get a damn hotel room or something.
yeah, I mean,
Take this
whatever you got to do
vacation.
to decompress. I mean, don't decompress all the time by, heading to the bar or, throwing some back. I mean, sometimes that's just masking what's really going on inside. Because I did that. It's good camaraderie, good times to bond with people over a drink or two. But if you see it's starting to become a problem, I mean, I know that person got to have that courage to admit themselves that they have a problem first. But if you see it, kind of like steer them away, just talk to them, keep like do something that will just keep them away from going down that path, because it's too easy, and especially from always hearing about a Marine, losing his life, but you hearing alcohol is involved in it. It's like I know I got a couple of funny stories through, some drinking nights, but I mean, I know the Marine Corps was born in a bar, in a tavern and everything, but sometimes we gotta, realize that how much that can do damage to us. A lot of
Absolutely.
us, a lot of us sometimes don't know when to say stop. And alcohol is just as a powerful drug as anything else out there. So I just tell people to just make sure that you're okay mentally. Don't overindulge, because you don't want to do something that you might regret.
And with that, folks, we're gonna end it with that. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Velma, the mom of the Marine Corps. Oh my goodness, it's great to see you again. I'm glad you're doing well.
I
Keep
appreciate
it
it.
up. Keep it up. Oh yeah, check me out on A2D Radio, Fan Fridays. If you want to talk your favorite sports teams, hey, we will got you covered. And look out for some future endeavors coming from me. I'm gonna just post a whole lot of stuff and just be prepared.
Thank you so much.